Hello, and welcome back to Think in English, the podcast where we have fun with the English language while debating the big questions in life. I'm your host, Zia.
And I'm Puck, and today we're tackling a huge one, a clash of titans, a battle for the ages.
Okay, Puck, bring it down a notch. We're talking about work, specifically the age-old question, is it better to have a steady job or to be your own boss?
Exactly. The noble path of the entrepreneur versus the comfortable life of the employee. I, for one, am firmly in the camp of forging your own destiny, to be the captain of your own ship.
Right, and I am firmly in the camp of getting paid on time and having weekends off. So today I'll be defending the glorious 9 to 5.
And I'll be the champion for the dreamers, the builders, the people who look at a spreadsheet and think, I can do this better. Probably. This is employment versus entrepreneurship. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's start with the most obvious point, the paycheck. Puck, there is a simple, profound beauty in knowing that every 2 weeks, a predictable amount of money will magically appear in your bank account. It's like a little miracle you can count on.
A predictable, limited amount of money, Zia. It's a golden cage. Sure, it's comfortable, but you'll never earn more than what your boss decides you're worth. When you run your own business, the sky is the limit. Your income is tied directly to your effort and creativity.
And sometimes that income is a grand total of 0 or a negative 500 because you had to buy a new printer. My limited paycheck also comes with something called benefits, health insurance, paid sick days, paid vacation. Does your business pay you to go lie on a beach for 2 weeks?
Not yet, but that's the dream. The business grows and eventually it runs itself. Then I can lie on a beach for a whole year. You're thinking about the short-term comforts. I'm playing the long game.
The long game? The long game for most businesses involves a terrifying amount of stress about something called cash flow. I don't have to worry about cash flow. I just have to worry about showing up and doing my job. At 5 p.m., I turn off my computer and my financial stress for the day is over.
Right, but is it fulfilling? Are you building something that's truly yours? When I make $1, that's $1 I earned for me, not for some giant corporation. It feels different. It's a victory.
And when you have to figure out your own taxes, that's a victory you get to figure out all by yourself, too. My taxes are just taken care of. Poof! Magic. I think you underestimate the sheer bliss of administrative tasks being someone else's problem.
Okay, taxes are a pain, I'll give you that. But it's a small price to pay for the ultimate prize, freedom. Which brings me to my next point. I am my own boss. I don't have to ask for permission to go to the dentist. I can work from my couch in my pajamas.
Yes, the great myth of entrepreneurial freedom. Let me ask you this, Pug. You don't have a boss telling you what to do, right?
Nope, total liberty.
Instead, you have hundreds of bosses. They're called your clients, and they email you at 10 o'clock at night and on weekends. My boss legally cannot do that. It's called work-life balance.
That's just part of the hustle. It's exciting. And that freedom isn't a myth. It's about flexibility. If I want to take a Tuesday afternoon to go for a hike, I can. Can you?
Yes, it's called using my paid time off. And when I'm on that hike, I'm not secretly checking my phone, worrying that my entire company is going to collapse because I was unreachable for 3 hours. You're never truly off the clock, are you?
When you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. The lines blur in a beautiful, creative way.
The lines blur until you realize you haven't had a real conversation with a human being that wasn't about invoices or marketing strategy in 6 months. I have colleagues. We have coffee. We complain about our boss. It's a vital social ritual.
Okay, the loneliness can be a factor. I'll admit that. But that's what networking events are for. You meet other passionate people. It's collaboration. It's innovation.
It's exchanging business cards with people who also work from their couch in their pajamas. My point is, the structure of a job provides boundaries. Your freedom often looks a lot like the freedom to work yourself into the ground 24/7.
But it's my ground. I'm working for my own dream, which leads me perfectly to my next point, growth.
In a job, you have a defined role. You might get a promotion every few years, but in your own business, you are forced to grow every single day.
That's a very nice way of saying you have to do everything.
Exactly. You become the CEO, the head of marketing, the accountant, the customer service rep, and the janitor all at once. The amount you learn in the first year of business is more than you learn in 10 years at a corporate job.
Right. I prefer to be really good at one thing, not mediocre at 20 things. If the company website crashes, you know what I do? I send an email to the IT department. I don't spend the next 72 hours frantically Googling code and crying. That sounds less like a growth opportunity and more like a nightmare.
But the feeling when you fix it yourself, it's incredible. You feel like a superhero. You're building resilience. You're pushing past your comfort zone. A steady job is the definition of a comfort zone. It's safe, but nothing exciting ever happens there. A nightmare for you, maybe, but a thrilling challenge for others. It's about perspective. What you see as chaos, I see as an opportunity to innovate. For example, I had to learn basic graphic design for my first website. Was it hard? Yes. Did I want to throw my computer out the window? Several times. But now I have a valuable skill I never would have learned otherwise. And that's just one example. The learning never stops when you're building something from the ground up.
I like my comfort zone. It's, comfortable. It has good snacks and a reliable heating system. The terror zone you entrepreneurs live in sounds exhausting. The constant pressure, the uncertainty, no thank you. My job provides a clear path. I know what's expected of me. I have a manager who gives me feedback. It's stable. I hear you. My graphic design skills are limited to choosing a template, and I'm perfectly fine with that. It sounds like the core difference is what kind of stress you're willing to accept, the stress of corporate structure or the stress of total, unadulterated chaos.
That stability is an illusion, Zaya. Companies have layoffs all the time. Your job could disappear tomorrow. When you own the business, you have control. You're not dependent on someone else's decisions. Your security is in your own hands.
Your security is dependent on the entire global economy, market trends, and whether your main client decides to switch to a cheaper competitor. I think I'll take my chances with the illusion of stability. It pays better.
And it's not just about security. It's about impact, the chance to create something truly new. Think about it. Most major innovations didn't come from a committee in a boardroom. They came from a handful of people in a garage with a crazy idea.
Touché, but we're not just talking about money.
We're talking about legacy, impact. I'm building something that could outlast me. What are you building?
A really impressive collection of hand plants that I can afford to water. Look, it's about personality, right? Some people are built for that risk, which reminds me of a story about my old boss, speaking of terrible jobs.
Ooh, story time. Let's hear it.
So I had this manager once. Let's call him Dave. Dave was a micromanager, a term our listeners might know. It means a boss who wants to control every tiny little detail of your work.
Right. Breathing down your neck.
Exactly. He wanted to be CC'd on every single email. If I sent an email to the person sitting next to me, Dave wanted to be on it. He once called me into his office to discuss my font choice on a report. He felt that Times New Roman was, and I quote, lacking in proactive energy.
No way. Proactive energy? What font has proactive energy? Comic Sans?
I suggested it as a joke, and he almost fired me. That's the downside of employment. You're stuck with the Daves of the world. But the upside is I could quit, and I did. And I never had to see Dave or his energetically approved fonts ever again.
See, that's a perfect argument for being your own boss. You never have to deal with a Dave. My turn. Let me tell you about one of my first businesses. I was 12, and I decided I was going to be a pet rock tycoon.
A pet rock tycoon, of course you were.
I gathered a bunch of smooth stones from the park. I bought googly eyes and glue from the craft store. My startup costs were about $5. I meticulously glued eyes on about 50 rocks. I even made little cardboard box houses for them.
That's actually kind of adorable.
My first customer was my grandma. She bought one for $2. I was ecstatic. I had a 100% markup. I was basically a genius. Then I tried to sell them to my friends. Turns out, other 12-year-olds know that you can just pick up a rock for free. My business collapsed in a single afternoon. I lost $3.
A devastating loss. So, your point is that entrepreneurship is a rocky road? Sorry, I had to.
Ha, very funny. My point is, even though I failed, I learned about startup costs, market research, and profit margins. At 12, that failure taught me more than any summer job could have. It's about the journey.
All right, I can see the value in that. So, after all this, where do we land? It seems like we're at a bit of a stalemate.
I think so. It really comes down to what you value more. Your argument for stability, predictability, and work-life boundaries is really strong, especially the part about not having to deal with your own taxes.
And your argument for unlimited potential, personal growth, and the freedom to build your own dream is, well, it's very you, Puck. It's appealing, even if it sounds terrifying to me.
So there's no right or wrong answer. It's about knowing yourself. Are you a Zia or are you a Puck? Do you crave security or do you thrive on risk?
That's the perfect way to put it. So for all of you listening to Think in English, we want to know what you think. Are you team employment, enjoying that steady paycheck? Or are you team entrepreneur, hustling to build your empire?
Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to read your stories and opinions. Maybe there's a third option we haven't even considered.
That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining our little debate. This has been Think in English. I'm Zia.
And I'm Puck. Keep thinking, keep learning, and don't be afraid to chase your dreams or a really good benefits package. Until next time.